conspicuously is left open is not going to be grabbed up. It is a Lucian prio here. Hope, one of the best Lucian players, I think, in the LPL. Him and Missing were absolutely astounding. There is the possibility of answering with a Draven here again. We just saw this already. So we could just see the run back immediately from Deokdam. But Kellin Lux also available, so that is a different angle if they want to go for it. That's door number 3, though.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like the Kellin Lux could be really strong, but they are going to go for the Aphelios. So it looks like, at least from DAMWON's perspective, they've kind of gone, right, well, JDG haven't had the strongest of early games, right? What we actually have seen is them power ahead in the mid to late game. So this could be DAMWON just going, hey, look, we'll just take the easy game, or the early game easy. Let's just play for that mid to late game and make sure we have the composition that can outscale.
Well, it is difficult to do sometimes against the LPL. You know, I will say they may have lost a little bit of faith when they lost the 2v2. You know, taking the Draven into Lucian Nami, they get 2v2 killed, maybe feeling like, all right, we're not going to necessarily be able to pull that off against Hope and Missing when we couldn't already earlier today. But Canyon on extreme comfort. When there's one pick I think of with Canyon, it is Graves, right? This guy has been so good on it throughout his career, always manages to affect the lanes, keep his form high, have massive participation in the team fights, to control objectives, and he just feels like that all-around player that you're looking for. But it is Yagao going blind here on the Sylas, and now there's a choice to make. Do you match mid lane, or do you grab your support here? Because if you don't grab your support, things like Thresh and TK, the kind of pairings that you might want to go for, could just be taken away.
Yeah, I mean, you could also have a worry here of like a Kali and that kind of stuff being banned away, but it's not even going to be the Thresh or TK apparently. So they are actually going to go towards the Lulu. So opting into the Enchanter versus Enchanter, and late game, this is going to be fantastic. You've got both the Aphelios and the Graves there to empower, but this is going to be a very dodgy early game if JDG are prioritizing bot zones.
Yeah, that's my concern for DAMWON, right? Yes, the late game for Lulu is still excellent, but the early stages, it's always been a bad matchup in Nami. Generally, you know, the heal poke from Nami really does well into shielding enchanters, such as Lulu, such as Janna as well. So I do think that the early levels are going to be very, very difficult. If Deokdam and Kellin can hold on, then they're going to be in a great spot here, but it does feel like really throwing down the gauntlet and saying, Hope, Missing, you can't actually get enough of an advantage for this pick to be worthwhile. Because across the board, a lot of scaling grabbed up here from DAMWON. I am expecting now some mid lane bans towards ShowMaker to try to cover Yagao in that mid lane, but we'll see exactly what they want to target.
I'm thinking things like the Akali would probably be taken off the board just because we've seen it. Actually going to be the Talia as well, taken away from ShowMaker. Also another really good pick into the Sylas. So potential here for ShowMaker to actually go back towards something like an Orianna, right? You still get something that can bully the Sylas in lane, doesn't give across a great ultimate form, and you still end up kind of leaning in towards this late game damage that you can go for, while also having just more shields for people like the Graves, like the Aphelios, and being able to keep them safe.
I wonder if they are going to ban out even the LeBlanc, perhaps, right? You know, Akali, I think LeBlanc, those are the two that I'm thinking most of. I just feel like ShowMaker's so strong on LeBlanc, but there isn't a great jungle pairing, so maybe more concerned about something like that Akali. Of course, they could go for neither option and try to throw a ban towards Nuguri, but it does feel like you want to limit the choices there. So it is, in fact, going to be Akali, and now we have to see, you know, as you say, is ShowMaker going to go towards a control mage? Are they really going to go full-on scaling? Because if you go control mage mid, I do feel you likely need some sort of an engage from top. LeBlanc was the other option I was thinking of as a ban, you know, but it's easy to say, oh, you did the wrong ban because you could just pick the inverse no matter what you actually go for here. You can't ban out everything. But to me, this is one of ShowMaker's absolute best champions. When he is playing on LeBlanc, I feel like DAMWON have a much better time pushing the game forward because he's so good at poking and prodding, at playing aggressively, playing in the face of their opponents. He really creates windows for DAMWON to capture objectives, to capture towers and dragons where they wouldn't otherwise be able to do it.
I love this pick, though, if we do end up seeing it for 369. The Kennen against such a short-range composition is going to be great. It also means that you've got to be very careful as LeBlanc if you are going in now. You should be able to hop in and out and get some poke, but it just means it makes it very difficult now for DAMWON to try and stick around and deal a lot of damage.
Do they go Nocturne? Nocturne Kennen here, turn off the lights, and try to go for those flanking plays because it is a very squishy team. I think Nocturne can actually fit really well into this composition. To me, it feels like the angle you should be going for 100%. When you lock in the Kennen, you have 4 squishies on the other team, turn off the lights, go for it. Not necessarily going to be the pick. In fact, it is Lee Sin, so going for a little bit more playmaking here, but still very powerful engage.
also opted into the weak side of the matchup, right? Graves has a pretty good time against the Lee Sin, so you're heavily reliant now on JDG that Graves isn't going to get involved in Kanavi's jungle. So looking towards 369, he definitely needs to keep control. And same when you look towards this bottom half, make sure that you're able to play to keep Kanavi safe in these early stages.
So Gragas for Nuguri. AP matchups generally are considered the answer into Kennen, and this one does make a lot of sense. You can go multiple different directions. Curious to see if it's going to be first strike AP, and he's going to be kind of full squish, or if they actually do want to tank. But this solves their engage issue. It solves the laning issue against that Kennen. It's very easy to hold on with the sustain, to poke away with your Q on that Kennen, so you can't expect 369 to be dominant in this matchup. But I do really kind of like what DAMWON has drafted here. The biggest question for me is just can Hope and Missing really hammer home an advantage on that bottom side?
Also, the Gragas just gives great disengage for something like a Kennen, for something like a Sylas, trying to buy space for the Aphelios in the backline alongside the Lulu. And even if you need to, he can still offer some of that engage, which was one of the big things that was missing.
Absolutely. That being said, though, it is also offering that Gragas ultimate up to Sylas, right? So it is giving them a little bit of engage here, and especially if Nuguri is going to go towards first strike AP.
T1 is a possible quarterfinal opponent. We are on to the rift here for JDG versus DAMWON.
Small thing, but I do really love the 5-man commitment here from DAMWON down towards bot side. When you are playing these range support matchups, it's so important to actually have side brush control. So they commit all 5 down towards bot. They get the deep ward to be able to have eyes on a Missing, and you can hear the LPL faithful absolutely erupting, traveling in to support their teams no matter where Worlds is. It always feels like an LPL home crowd.
I love the early ward that we've gotten here for Kanavi, though. Trying to spot out exactly where Canyon is starting, because as we're talking about, Kanavi will need to make sure that he's not getting invaded on by Canyon and trying to get involved in these lanes. And Kanavi in the past, if we look back at like 2021, 2020, had some absolutely fantastic performances on the Lee Sin, but hasn't really been able to find as much success in the Lee Sin since. So we'll have to see what version of Kanavi we get here. But if he gets the ball rolling, he can be incredibly strong in this pick.
It's also interesting noting Kellin's actual setup here. You know, a lot of times when people are going Resolve, they actually go with Relic Shield more against, you know, kind of all-in champions. But he is going Guardian. He even took Second Wind to help deal with a little bit of the poke. But because I believe it's based on your own percent HP, it's just increasing that regen. When you go Spell Thieves with it, and you have such low base stats on the Lulu, you're not actually getting a tremendous amount of value from that rune. So we'll see how much he can get here. You want to be kind of constantly proccing it against this Lucian Nami to just really reduce damage.
It is a little bit less health, so it's a very little bit less regen, although for what's worth, it is percent missing health, so until you're below what would be Spell Thief's health, it technically doesn't help to like change the regen. But yeah, if you're going to get bursted, right, you have slightly less durability against the burst, which can certainly matter in this lane, but expects to be scrapping constantly. And if you're fighting back and forth all the time, well, then you better be earning the gold for it as well, because it is level 2 first here. As he trades in, auto Q works out pretty well.
Well, I'm kind of trying to keep my eyes on where the junglers are going at the moment. Obviously, you're getting a very quick full clear coming through from Canyon, only skipping his Krugs at the top side of the map. But for Kanavi, he managed to steal away his Raptors and is now playing up towards his top side. So making sure that he's able to have an opportunity to get one of these Scuttle Crabs for himself, having the support from 369, who has pushed in top side successfully. Just needs to be careful of ShowMaker and potentially Canyon deciding to zip on up to that top side and contest them.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to do that, but for now, you know, it is multiple pushing lanes here for DAMWON, looking pretty damn good. And it is Kanavi potentially going to be looking for some sort of a move up towards top. You know, can take away the Krugs. And if Nuguri were to get very, very low, then there would be the ability to threaten to dive potentially, but I don't think it's going to happen. He's fighting well here against 369, and he has it warded out, so Kennen can go for the counterplay and just look to take Krugs away.
Oh, that was pretty smart, yeah. I mean, preempts his nose. Body Slam Flash Auto would probably kill him out right now. And the forethought, you can see the ward is already there. He expects the route kind of he's taking, which is you didn't take Krugs away, and indeed Graves gets the exact same kind of jungle done.
And I just actually love that little mind game. When Gragas is body slamming forward, sometimes you don't even need to commit the flash because you can't react with your own flash once they have flashed on you. You're just stunned. So you have to commit that early flash here, and Canyon now down to bot side.
Can't be auto back because the smoke screen takes heavily the better side of that trade. Even though Missing could spam some heals, it's still a lot of bot lane priority. And you thought Lucian Nami was going to win the lane. So far, it's not happening. A couple of casting minions dropped, sure, but you can see 27 to maximally 22 CS. DAMWON are crushing bottom lane so far.
Yeah, now both junglers going to start to move over towards the Scuttles, keeping their eyes on mid lane, but at the moment, Kennen is kind of having the bigger impact. I mean, farming up more, now getting in towards the bot side as well, so he's actually got the advantage there. It feels like we need to see JDG actually start to have some presence on the map right now.
And I think for this Lucian Nami, you know, it's less about, you know, level 1 and the very, very beginning, and more about once you get a few levels, and especially once you spike on 1 items, you know, that is kind of your biggest window that you've got to be getting things done. And level 1 for Aphelios is very strong. You can get that push. You can utilize the additional range you have with that green gun, sniper gun, to really make things happen. But you know, as you start getting levels in, the trades from this Lucian Nami become more and more dangerous, and especially on Mandate plus Gale Force, that's where things get really, really scary. Whereas, you know, the Aphelios is much more looking towards that 3-item spike.
For now, if they have control, you know there's no flash the top side. Kennen still without a recall. Body's and flash gonna land it. Guaranteed slow now as well. 369 can do nothing but watch himself die. He knows what's gonna happen. You think anyways. He tries to cut away, gets his stun into Graves. 369 playing it well, but the slow is there, and Kennen still in the chase. He has flash if he needs it. Sidestep, not gonna mean anything. First blood comes through to the DAMWON jungle.
And Kennen has been everywhere so far. The DAMWON jungler has been popping off, gets into bot, now moving up towards top side as well, and punishing the fact that 369 was trying to crash that wave, see if he could chip away at the tower. Kanavi was spotted.
ShowMaker doesn't get much done, though. He does have lost chapters, a decent trade. The Raptors in the way. Takes away a single one.
But honestly, really nicely done by ShowMaker. You know, it's Yagao going back to base. Kanavi wanted to make the aggressive move, try to get the counter jungling done. But with Yagao back in base, ShowMaker comes, makes the read, is there to actually push them away. So protecting a lot of those Raptors there for Kennen. So Kennen gets the gank done, doesn't really lose anything. And yes, you know, you're going to lose not that much here, but you might lose a plate. The Kennen will take it up. They're going to go for the dive.
Place. That's where they went for the push. He might have to ignite. One more tick might kill him. It does! The last tick of ignite takes him down. DAMWON up to a 2-0 start. Stun not going to land yet for Yagao. Steals away. Distortion doesn't mean much.
I mean, the bot lane for DAMWON is doing so well, though. Massive CS lead. Now they get the kill onto Missing, who was trying to hold this wave, so Hope could pick it up. But DAMWON right now styling on JDG.
I mean, it's a stomp. We're up 2,000 gold here for DAMWON, 6.5 in. This is not even close.
Chronicler, I didn't realize you were rolling for JDG, not the other way around. This isn't fair.
Looking pretty good right now, so we'll see what else they can get going with the gold lead. Yeah, missing. And they just find the engage. Like, it's really well done. This is a silly trade. I don't know what you're getting out of auto. You don't earn 20 gold. You're not freezing the wave. This is a simple overstep that has 0 upside.
Yeah.
That is just a mistake.
I mean, the fact that you weren't even trying to... I thought he was trying to hold the wave to begin with, but the wave had already crashed. You're just going for a quick trade. As you say, there was no need. And now you're looking again at this bot side, right? You have Deokdam and Kellin with the push. Well, there goes the invade coming through for Kennen, going for the Red Bull.
Well, JDG's hopes of going 6-0 are dwindling. Still possible to come back, of course, and even if they lose, they tie break for first. And obviously they're already through to quarterfinals, but first seed certainly matters here as the items come through, and it's a pickaxe up for Deokdam. Even though he only got the assist on that kill, he recalled so much later and with more farm that he's up 25 AD in this lane.
Yeah, he's looking really, really good, and it gets difficult for 369. You know, Nuguri won the mind game early on, forced the flash, then Kennen gets up there, he uses the flash to get the kill. And now you're in this range versus melee matchup where you can no longer really push because you're down that summoner and you're not going to be feeling safe. You look,
Not a bad trade, cleanses the way, everything else, but summoner still being up makes them pretty safe. They're Duck of Souls' own flash. You can see nothing else to be done there.
Yeah, forces a flash out of Kellin there, but you know, this vision up towards topside is what I really wanted to highlight. You know, these wards here, the denial of vision there for 369, there's not really any safety for him, so he's got to play pretty far back, but the wave is going to be pushing away. Kennen will be able to take the Herald down here, no problem. And DAMWON looking very, very good still. Of course, JDG can team fight their way out of some of these disadvantages, and they do have the ability to do it in these 5v5s. You know, if you steal away a Gragas ult, you have Gragas ult, plus you have the Kennen ultimate as well. A lot of playmaking, a lot of AoE there. Oh no.
Nine is in trouble.
Got the ulti on. He has his own flash as well, but the health bar getting pretty dangerously low, 200 HP. Flashes this one, but where's he even going to go at this point? Deokdam over the wall, gets the turret, and Kennen takes the kill all the same. We're just seeing mistake after mistake now from JDG.
And this is what I was about to say, is it becomes incredibly hard for JDG to try and play towards their lanes. Now the bot lane is behind. Kanavi doesn't really want to go in top because Nuguri will have his flash back up. He's got the cast, and it's Kennen now who's able to hit right, left, and center. Kennen, big farm lead. getting the gold lead, and getting his laners ahead. I mean, this is DAMWON just running away with this completely.
Well, and 369 knows he has no vision in the river. Herald gets taken, so you know the jungler's right there, and he kind of tries to do this weird freeze where he's pulling it down towards the brush that the jungler would be in. And lo and behold, there he is. And, you know, this is back-to-back games now from JDG. You know, the early game against G2, now this game as well, that they are making some really careless mistakes. You know, mistakes from open and missing in that one against G2 in the early lanes, and now here again, getting punished, but this time it's 369.
Oh, stun comes across. Not bad. ShowMaker, of course, jumps away.
And I love the way that DAMWON are playing this. Immediately as the Rift Tower is taken, Deokdam and Kellin go top. Okay, cool. Well, now we can just use this Herald top with Canyon. We already know that we've got the advantage through the items on the Aphelios, Canyon as well being massive, so they're just going to hard force more gold into Deokdam, their late game wing
chains.
Nice. Whose birthday is it? Oh, down it goes. Wade's gonna be fine, and we can watch that fight again. I mean, this time he rolls the 3, right? It's in the name.
Yeah, but again, you know, the problem with this one for me was the setup. The fact that you already knew that the Herald had just been taken, you know that the jungler could be there, and that looks like a cannonball. It's almost like a meatball flying out there. I've never seen that close up.
Well, we have to see if DAMWON are going to keep getting salty with this, because right now it has been absolutely incredible for them.
I see you.
Thank you, thank you. Umbro Glaive now completed for Canyon as well. He just gets to run around the map. Dragon is up on the bot side as well. They still have the Rift Herald in tow, so once you start to see where Kanavi spotted, I imagine Canyon would just immediately, actually even before that, move over towards this as well. As the support of Nuguri, you should be able to push out this bot wave.
And we'll see if 369 is going to be in trouble here again. You know, could be a little bit dangerous with Canyon around, but Canyon going to be starting this up. Already has the Umbro Glaive completed. Going to be working towards a Gore Drinker. Pretty popular build. I do think that Gore Drinker is kind of being somewhat overrated, though, I will say on Graves. I think it's very, very strong against multiple melee comps where you're going to be able to get the value. But against this comp, it's maybe going to be tough to actually get a really good Gore Drinker off. There is obviously Kennen, Lee, and the Sylas is kind of who you're hoping for, I think. But I'm more of a fan of different build paths, honestly, when it's not an easy Gore Drinker game.
Wants to make the play. Empowered W auto. W would do it for the stun, but no follow through. Graves nearby anyway.
Man, Canyon is doing such a good job of tracking Kanavi. Everywhere that Kanavi wants to get to, Canyon is already hit before he gets there. And you can see it here, right? Kanavi is like, look, we'll try and make a player in 369. Our bot lane is already kind of falling a bit short. But at the second he gets there, Canyon's already in position. Now we're looking mid lane with the Rift Herald as well.
Ulti comes across, gonna find a little bit, but he's already pressed his Q for a stun, so he's not gonna find anything there. What a CC combo. He could have gone for purple ult and pressed Q afterwards, missing, still flashing away, stays alive.
Yeah, a little bit of a misplay there from Deokdam, but does get the flash out of missing regardless. But this is a chance. Yeah, this is a rough one, honestly, for Kanavi as well, right? He's in a situation where he's down 30 plus CS, you know, down in kills, down massively in gold. He's 2,000 gold behind. And when you're in that position, you have to find plays, right? As Lee Sin, you can't just sit back and farm because you farm more slowly than your opponent in the Graves. Graves has taken the Herald, he's taken the Dragon, he's getting more done on the map. So it's going to be up to Kanavi when they do eventually have one of those fights to really find an excellent kick, because barring that, Canyon will always have more value.
And the problem is that the way Kanavi has tried to come back into these games, and JDG has, is true finding picks. But when you're already losing turrets, when you're already starting to fall behind, this is where it becomes very, very difficult for you to actually get control on the map to look for those picks. I mean, Hope and Missing can't look to contend against Deokdam right now. Yagao can't push up against ShowMaker. And every time they try to make a pick around 369, you've got Canyon already in your face.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when your lanes are getting pushed in, Canyon can kind of just play like a battle ward, and now Yagao in trouble.
Damage roots there as well. Lulu ulti, Yagao barely has any escape tools. Pops the Graves ulti, Gale forces in, tries to drain tank it, and it's not going to happen. Kellin calls in the reinforcements, and it's 4-0.
I mean, they're in their head. DK are everywhere.
Oh, gonna find the miss on the ulti, and that means they're gonna kick him into the wall, and this will be finally something on the board.
Yeah, they get one back. That is big, denying the dive here and getting a kill onto Nuguri, but on the top side, it's a white gun. Chukram's stacked up, and he is gonna be farming these plates very, very quickly. Well over 3,000 gold here. We're not even at 15 minutes and DAMWON, I think, have the better late game. So it's going to be very, very difficult.
And it's 3 turrets that are now prepped for the Rift Tower that's about to spawn as well. So even if you get that, you've got so many options now to make those plays happen. But this was just a bit unfortunate here for Nuguri.
Nice
369 gets the sidestep, and then immediate ult. Kanavi finally in a position to follow up on this.
Yeah, that was just beautifully done by 369. Great sidestep, and as you say, Kanavi, right place, right time to help bail him out. It is worth checking in on Nuguri, who is going for the Everfrost. So the common AP option. Thought he might have gone for a bit of a tank look this game, but their burst and their engage is going to be really, really frightening. If you do miss position, especially looking at Hope, because a lot of the pressure is going to be on him to dominate in these fights. You are this mid-range champion where you're almost always in range of body slam flash if you're doing any damage whatsoever.
Yeah, and now it kind of feels like a lot of this game for JDG is reliant on 369 getting this massive ultimate at some of these fights. Maybe Yagao being able to steal away something like that explosive cast, and then just one-shotting the backline for DAMWON Kia. But if you never get that chance, it's going to be in a bad spot, and that's why I feel like actually having Yagao on this bot side for the Rift Herald is actually a great addition.
Walks in for the double ulti, gets a decent knockup, walks back into his team, is going to be fine. It's forcing a flash away from Hope. Nearly the kill as Deokdam Gale forces in, but missing. Will just barely stay alive. Somebody Gale popped.
And I was about to say, if 369's on top side, maybe you can fight for this Rift Herald, but now with Nami gone, a flash is burned, DAMWON are just going to try and take mid tower at least.
Q nearly the damage to the turret. They're going to walk in for a bit more. Couple autos will kill it off, and indeed, turret will fall. JDG do not have the tools to fight back. Yagao doesn't find his own stun. Gets a quick slow. ShowMaker's going to root him in place, though. Gets the chain. Wins his cooldowns back up there. Dives in for a bit more. That's got to be the real one to the top side. It is. Cannot get the kill.
Yeah, Yagao getting a little bit of pressure there on the map, though. That is good if they can actually establish some sort of dominance in that side lane. That will buy a little bit of time here for JDG, who's now going to try to start up the Herald. Kennen was pulled off this when he did come towards mid, and you can see Kennen pathing down towards bot on that mini-map. So should be a JDG Herald, which maybe they can use to try to find a little bit of a setup around this next dragon.
And that's what the big focus here is going to be, right? If they can try and get into a position where 369 can come in, get that big ultimate, if they can use the Herald to get a decent position for him. But the problem is, like, look at the amount of wards that are littered on this bot side right now for DAMWON. Like, you just don't have a position to sneak in to get a deep ward for 369 so we can actually get a flank. So it kind of feels like you have to brute force it with 369's flash, but maybe they can get a play on Nuguri again.
Wants to go for the play there. Herald summoned up as well. They can nearly find the turret with that one. And just about at lethal range of the Herald itself. Kanavi going to get all of the local gold. It looks like 369 going to be out of range for it. But they can try for the top side there. Nuguri left a bit alone, does have flash, and doesn't really have a way out though at the end of the day. Q going to land, a bit more of a slow, buying as much time as possible because the Drake is dying on the other side of the map. 2-0 on Drakes for DAMWON, finally kill on the top side.
I really feel like that should have gone to 369 though. Trying to accelerate this Kennen to a late game position should have been the get-go there. The kill goes to Kanavi though, which definitely isn't as valuable now. Oh, onto
Really
top.
good goal. And Gale, ooh, yeah, Gale force in for that as well. If Kellin weren't there, could have been a kill.
Something nice, though, Missing does have the Imperial Mandate now completed, so they are on that
huge
big power spike here for Lucian Nami, and they get a charge on the tier 2. They're going to get a charge on the tier 3 as well.
Really big, actually. There's still a lot to come back from this game. JDG had a comeback win against DAMWON the first time they met, but it was only an 1,100 gold difference.
Does this go down?
A 3K, definitely.
Oh. No, not quite. It's going to live, but that was very, very close. And yeah, I mean, they're down 2K now, but they were down like 3 to 4K,
yeah,
what, like 8 minutes ago? You know, so the lead meaning way less. Lucian Nami are really at that point where I think this is the biggest power discrepancy between them and the Aphelios Lulu. One completed item, I really heavily favor Lucian Nami, so I think they can start looking for scraps, and they're kind of at a point where maybe they can make things happen.
Also just spotting Canyon on that top side as well. It looks like we're going to start moving members of JDG down to this bot side. It feels like pick on Nuguri seems to be the game plan right now for JDG. But we'll have to see if DAMWON can try and respond. Right, top tower incredibly low, and that will be the last outer turret gone for JDG.
I'm going to be interested to see where Hope goes with his build as well. You know, how nervous is he about, these double AP soul lanes from DAMWON who have tremendous amount of burst? He is going to be the big target for DAMWON. Does he feel that he needs to sidestep and actually grab something like a Hex Drinker, or is he confident just his build towards an IE against what is a very squishy team? Getting that IE is going to be massive here, but not if you get one shot by the Gragas.
Yeah, he actually does pretty well against the body slam there. Cass forces the flash away. Yagao Has zone flash to follow, but not a lot of mana.
But still, another small advantage gained there by Yagao. First it's pushing out ShowMaker, now it's pushing him out. Canyon's coming in.
Oh, the cast! It stopped his teleport, but does Kennen even kill him? It's nearly a full health Yagao. Debbie's in for health and just getting bullied out of this one. Wants to dodge the damage, he'll just die. 369. Unwilling to ult as a buffer.
I'm surprised that we didn't actually see JDG try to turn onto Graves. Thought there was a lot more people coming down quicker on DAMWON Kia, so they decide not to turn, so Yagao ends up falling for that one, and JDG now getting pushed in once more, DAMWON taking control of the map.
170 CS Graves, level 12. He is massive, rivaling the Soul Lanes in this game.
I mean, he has more farm than Deokdam, right?
Yeah.
Like, he is just farming at a ridiculous clip here. About 9 CS per minute or so there for Canyon. He's already working on his third item. He knows that a lot of the burst is, it's double AP soul laners on both teams, right? So he is already very heavily itemizing towards the MR, and we can watch it one more time.
And this is the Canyon that everyone was terrified of once we heard that there might be a farming meta coming back in, because Canyon is so good in these positions, and you see it here, immediately running down to the bot side. Nuguri cancels the TP, but we're on to 369 again!
And he's gonna get locked up and just dies. Lulu will prevent anything else from happening to Kellin, is in there, flashes to make sure we can't get away.
That's another rough death there for JDG, but I do prefer holding on to the flash and the ultimate for the next fight. I don't think it's worth flashing out to try to live there. As you just need those resources, which will be okay.
The clone tanks it all still, though.
TP
low HP, TP flank. Minute and a half still to the Drake. Nami hits 2. Will it even matter? They're running away. Huge damage on a Hope. Ulti an attack onto 2 of them. Decent damage from the autos. Missing now, low on health. Has to flash now away as well. Health for lead completely on the side of DAMWON.
And now this is going to be so tough for that next fight. No flash on Yagao, no flash on Hope, no flash on Missing. And you're coming up to what is a soul point fight here in 1 minute. DAMWON are just going to say, screw it, let's start the Baron here. 369 has TP, so they at very least, I think, want to get that TP out, but Yagao's getting chunked mid, he's in trouble.
Good read by ShowMaker, dodges the stun, just chunks him to 300 HP. But it's a 4v4 right in front of the Baron. You can't really win this fight with Baron hitting you, so they are going to call it off. Trading TP, their mid laner for the opposing top.
That is going to be no summoners, though, when it comes to those teleports. ShowMaker and Nuguri's both gone as well. Yagao's off the board, so it will now just look like an all-out brawl to see if you can get this position on the Dragon. And, I mean, with the resets coming through for DAMWON, with the vision that they've already kind of established, it looks like DAMWON should be able to get into River first and make sure they can start to poke with ShowMaker and make it difficult again for JDG to try and compete with this.
Well, and just critically, Deokdam and ShowMaker both still have their flash, right? So, that is the biggest difference here. Yagao and Hope are going to be much more vulnerable, but playmakers on JDG's side do have their flash as well. So can 369 and Kanavi find anything?
Australia's in. Lifts the Whimsy to prevent flash, but it's not much of a slow. They're diving on in. That's going to be a shutdown. Deokdam there getting help from ShowMaker. And already no support there. Missing is gone from the lineup. And you got a kickback for Kanavi into a bunch of damage on Kennen. Cast right back out of the team. And the kills are not found. A free-firing AD carry sets up for a second and a third. Objective bounty's already on. Round 2 for Baron.
Azael, you're a prophet. You called it for Deokdam. The flash there was crucial for him to escape away, and DAMWON Kia will turn immediately back towards the Baron. It might be a dragging consolation for Yagao, but DAMWON are feeling so damn good right now.
DAMWON are crushing JDG in this game. When the Baron goes down, I mean, they're going to be closing in on a 10K lead nearly. And again, yeah, that flash makes it so difficult to actually nail down Deokdam there. They're even delaying it as much as possible, trying to get the most out of the Baron buff.
Gonna run down. So can be guaranteed it. Can we stop Drake is the question.
They should be able to finish, but I mean, the question is, how much is going to be taken with this Baron buff? Yes, you do get a bounty. Yes, you do delay things a little bit, but you're down a good 7,000 gold at this point. The engage was pretty nice, but it's 369 getting pushed out on the top side of your screen, and then it all comes down to Kanavi finding this angle where he wanted to go for Deokdam, but Missing was already dead, and the follow-up wasn't really there.
It's just a great raid from Nuguri as well to check on that top side in case 369 was there. And here Kanavi tries his damnedest to get on, but the Everfrost crucially misses, which means they don't get the CC chain onto Deokdam. He's able to flash, he's able to get the Gale Force out, and without being able to burst out the Aphelios, the consistent damage is still there between the Aphelios and the Graves to carry on through the fight.
I understand the desire to be aggressive. We're behind. We need a big play. I can get under the AD carry. Maybe that's enough. It was not. The Bloodthirster is, of course, now in the inventory as well, so tanky to withstand the Kennen ult next time.
And it is hard to know, right? Because you can definitely question the play, going for it in the 4v5, but at the same time, you are more the early game focused comp. And I think JDG will be looking at it like, well, if we hit the Everfrost, he probably dies before he can flash, right? But now they are really up against it here. Down nearly 8,000 gold. Tier 2 mid is slated to fall. Tier 2 top is already gone, and the Tier 3 is being sieged here. ShowMaker just playing in between the waves.
He pulls him in, kicks back the Gragas, and that's going to be one picked off. A trade of champions. Back in goes 369, but he cannot solo kill the opposing AD carry. Lulu just makes it a freebie. The dive in for the rest works well for Lucian. And finally a triple kill. A hope has been extinguished, and it's Canyon. Exactly that in the jungle. 8-0 and 2. You cannot step up against this man.
Anything you could do, Canyon can do better. The triple kill from Hope is smacked down by DAMWON Kia, and they want to force the tiebreaker. They want to get first seed coming out of this group.
Canyon is looking like he's in world championship form here as JDG find the angle. Kanavi takes us in on a ShowMaker who snaps back, but he gives the free ride onto Nuguri, and they're able to burst him down very, very quickly. This time the Everfrost does land, and you can see the window for JDG as they move forward here. Hope dashing in, able to get a triple kill very early on, but as Canyon comes around the back of the fight, there's no one left to kind of create that space for him, and Canyon just dashes in his face and bursts him straight down.
And it took so long for the follow-up to come through, right? You get the play onto Nuguri, but as you move in his 369, Yagao is blocked by the minions. He can't get on towards the AD carry, and then you've all got to overextend one by one as JDG to make that play happen. Now, well, I mean, that's definitely a big old goal difference, but JDG going to try and face off again once more against DAMWON on the bottom side.
I mean, that's all you can really do at this point.
Oh no, that is a catastrophe there, Hope. Forced out, Gale forced to stay alive, but it's an ulti, forced away. Nearly kind of be going down, but no, will live on that one. You can see the item difference. Yeah, a frozen heart and an Umbral Glaive difference in the jungle. Pretty big deal down there as ShowMaker shoves in the mid side and looks for the inhibitor kills.
I mean, Canyon is closing in on full build. He's got 4 completed items. He's so far ahead of the pace of the game. It's just ridiculous. He is 6,000 gold ahead of Kanavi, right, in that 1v1. It's just unapproachable. The Graves is very, very tanky as well. He's got the Gore Drinker, a Maw, a Frozen Heart, plus the Merc Treads. You can't burst this guy down.
So what you're saying is, if Canyon's dead, it's only a 4,000 gold difference.
True, but the problem is as well, he's the second highest level in the game. Only second to ShowMaker. Like, he's been doing such a good job, and he has been the difference maker in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, if he's down, it's actually a gold disadvantage for them. He has 14,000 gold, but they're over the kick.
Great Gale Force for Deokdam. They don't get anything out of that one. Diving in as Canyon casts forwards, and he's still taking the front side. Maw, Frozen Heart. Yeah, nothing for 369. The root is there. A double kill through for Deokdam.
Nice attempt. They just don't have the damage to knock down Canyon. Hope trying desperately to punch through that jungler's armor, but he just can't do it.
The whimsy, the bop, Kanavi drops, and now DAMWON Kia are facing down on the Nexus. They are trying to force one more. Hope has to flash away.
Body Slam Flash means Cleanse Flash out of the AD carry, and the inhibitors now down to the top end, mid side, pushing in for the rest of it. Respawns in 15 seconds still. Bit of time built up by Nami. Nuguri quite low. Turret shots. Drop the aggro. Another one goes down. Here goes Yagao. Has a Lulu ulti. Where's he going to burn it? And onto whom? Looks like the respawn's coming in. DAMWON Kia got to play safely. They know the next rate comes up in 8 seconds. It's going to be an easy pickup. Maybe it's Baron to end the game afterwards.
Yeah, smart from DAMWON to back away from this one. They know they're low. They don't want to give over the shutdowns that are available pretty much across the board on their squad. But
Lulu ulti, though, is there. Does not quite combo everything together.
Yeah, and DAMWON had a good 5,000 gold to actually spend up here, so no reason to stay out on the map too long. They're going to take the dragon, reset, spend all the gold here, and get even stronger now. Really, the only hope, it feels like, for JDG is Hope here in the bot lane, trying to find the angle to really get something done. We can watch this one more time. The polymorph just makes it so difficult for Kanavi. The polymorph comes in, the Gale Force is there. He can't really get a lot done, but flash kick onto Canyon. The follow-up from the Gragas ulti there from Yagao, but he's just tanking the tower and all their damage. He's just too strong.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do between the shield coming off the bloodthirst and everything else. He's just absolutely monstrous. And now DAMWON trying to move into topside.
Here we go, 369, you've got an ult, you've got a flash, and you've got 2,000 health, soon becoming 0. Push towards Deokdam, forcing a stopwatch. Can they find this kill? He flashed the bubble, dives in with Lulu, still goes down. That's one of the board missing, will trade his life, plus they've already lost their AD carry. The stopwatch comes in, but no one will stop Canyon, a triple kill.
Canyon is running wild in this game. 11, 0, and 3. And DAMWON are marching on the Nexus. They want their tiebreaker. They want first in this group.
And they're going to try for it in the very next game. We will have the rematch. JDG continues the road set by the LPL every year. No team has ever gotten out of their group undefeated. JDG, no exception. We will have a rematch for the first seed next game.
I mean, this is a warning to every other team. You cannot let Canyon get his hands on this Graves, because we had nightmares of it back in 2020, and they are reoccurring here in 2022.
I mean, at 250 CS, 11 kills. Let's see the final gold here. 16,157 gold. 10,000 there for Kanavi, but it's not just him that he's that far ahead of. He was 3,000 gold ahead of the second richest person in the game, who is ShowMaker, right? So it's just like, the pace that he had in this game was truly incredible. The pressure he's putting on the lanes, the clip at which he's actually farming. He's taking all of the objectives. He's just doing every single thing. He's checking that box, checking that box, checking that box, and it got to a point where even when the fight started out well, you know, we see the final fight, they get the kill on the Deokdam, it doesn't actually matter because the carries are no longer the carry. It's all about Canyon, right? Sure, you kill Deokdam, sure you can pressure ShowMaker, but here comes Canyon.
Yep.
And Kanavi basically called him out, right? He was like, hey, I'm going to go for the Lee Sin. I'm going to go onto the worst side of this matchup, but I think I can have that impact in the early stages. And Canyon was like, no, I'm going to beat you, boss. I'm going to beat you top. I'm going to beat you everywhere around this map. It was an incredible performance from Canyon.
Yeah, played beautifully, so well done to that one. It means these teams are both 5-1, and you can't have it stop right there, as it's a 1-to-1 head-to-head. So we will have a tiebreaker in the very next game, a rematch here. I believe side selection will be based on game win time, although I shouldn't probably guess on that one. We'll get all the official